Hey, it's Jason Cochran from walletpop.com. I know you haven't been traveling a lot lately because money's tight, but we're here to tell you what the best value destinations of 2011 are. We asked the experts at Lonely Planet, which publishes about 600 of these things for pretty much every country on Earth, and the U.S. editor for Lonely Planet, Robert Reid, is here to talk to us about the 10 best value destinations of 2011. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. It's hard to narrow down to 10.
Yeah, right? Well, see, every year the new list comes out, but it changes every time it comes out because the factors are different each time.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at, how the currency is doing, or places that are always cheap, or places that have different changes in the travel there. There's different things that are happening that makes it more attractive as a best value destination. So yeah, it changes. It changes a little bit.
We're going to go for the first one on the list. Looks like it's Guatemala.
Yeah,
Tell us why.
One of my favorite trips that I've done, and anyone should do if they're looking for good value, is just go study Spanish. And Guatemala is really one of the best places to do it. For about $20 a day, you can live with a family, you get room and board, and 4 hours of private instruction each day. And I'm telling you, some of the best Spanish schools. I'm a terrible Spanish student. I've studied a lot of places. These were my favorite schools that I went to.
And you get to know the locals too, because you're staying with a family.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a pretty good, $20 a day.
$20 a day.
Room and board, done.
Yep.
All right, next one on your list. Japan. Not a lot of people would think that Japan is a budget destination. What's going on here?
No, well, I think that it's a bit of a myth that you can't go to Japan. It's not affordable to go there. It's actually, tourism's really taking off again. Like last year, the 33% up from a year before. The tourism agencies really promoting travel in China and Korea for Japan, so that the numbers are supposed to triple in the next 10 years. So it's good to go before the crowds are there. Now, as far as going and having an affordable trip, there's a site called the International Tourism Center for Japan. itcj.jp, and you can go there and click where you're going and look up minshuku. These are Japanese-style guest houses. They're simple places, very Japanese-style rooms with the mats on the floor, sparse furnitures, but you can find some in Tokyo for about $40. It's a really great deal.
Number 8, though, a South Asia one, and it's not Thailand. It's
Burma, Myanmar, Burma.
Myanmar is another name for the place.
Yeah, this is a country that is in the news right now. There's been a long-standing travel boycott there because of the military government that has had human rights abuses to prepare its country and its infrastructure actually for tourism. So many people choose not to go there. And what has changed in the last month is that the National League for Democracy softened its travel boycott to focus only on package tourists and not independent travelers. So they see a distinction between those two. And also their leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, was recently released from house arrest.
She's going in and out of prison. Right now she's on the out. But.
Yeah, she has been in house arrest 3 times over the last 18 years. And so there's a real question of what's going to happen. And a lot of people, they had an election recently. Even President Obama said that this was not a free election. That this was just something for the military government to try to get more of its own power through a PR gesture of the election itself. So really the position here is people still need to consider that any trip they go to, some of the money is going to go to this government. Are you comfortable with that? And what kind of trip do you want to do when you go?
But for independent travelers, you're more likely to not spend the money with the bad people, the government, and it'll go in the hands of the people who actually need it. Vietnam, though, this is a country that has come out of an oppressive system. We're going to now. Why would you want to go next year?
Well, Hanoi just turned 1,000. Big birthdays are always kind of nice. There was all kinds of, they opened up the Citadel for the first time and all kinds of things like this. Vietnam is a place that's kind of rising again. It's a place that's always rather cheap. I had the pleasure of living there for a while, and one of the things is a lot of people like to go and stay in like high-end hotels or kind of budget hotels. The thing is they don't have the middle ground very well, and so that means that some of the budget hotels, like $15 guest houses, are as good as hotels that you get for $80 or $100, and so the amount that you spend for things and the value that you get is actually pretty high. A lot of them are new guest houses, etc. I think there's 2 things to look at, 2 places to go to right now. A lot of people for years have been going to Mekong Delta, very cheap package trips. The thing that's changed in the last few years is you can go by yourself.
Bulgaria is next on our list.
Yeah, Bulgaria is one of my favorites.
Where is Bulgaria, for people who don't know?
Bulgaria is kind of the last Slavic country, the former part of the Iron Curtain to the southeast. So it's a Balkan country that is just north of Greece and Turkey and south of Transylvania and Romania, and it's on the Black Sea. So it's a country that is a little bit of a mystery. That's just interesting that you asked that, because a lot of people don't exactly know about it because it's surrounded by more famous neighbors. But the thing is, it has some of the most beautiful coastline on the Black Sea. Some of it's overdeveloped, places like sunny beach resorts and stuff, but you can still find places like in towns like Sinamorets near the Turkish border where you can have beaches there to yourself. I was there a couple weeks ago. I was the only person on the beach.
Albania. Here's another place that I don't think a lot of people know where it is. They remember it from The Simpsons references or something, you know?
Yeah, Albania is kind of this the secret corner of Europe to some degree. I mean, it's like just north of Greece. It doesn't border Bulgaria. It's a little bit towards the Adriatic, so it's between the heel of Italy and north of Greece. And it's not like the scenery of those mountains and those white sand beaches. And indeed, the Greek ruin stops once you get into the border. And people didn't realize that you have all these beaches. Now, some of them are crowded already. The Italians have found these beaches, but there are places you can go to, like from Corfu, which is a crowded destination in Greece. You can take a hydrofoil 45 minutes into Albania, and you're within 5 miles of white sand beaches.
It's essentially the same topography as Greece.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a taste of the Mediterranean for less money and less.
A few years ago, it was Croatia was what everyone was discovering on the Adriatic, and now we have this is like the next Croatia.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Argentina. Now, Argentina, people have been talking about for years.
Yeah.
It's still a great value, but why?
Well, this is a classic case where where you chase currency. A lot of people, when they think about traveling for a budget, they just kind of compare the currency from this year to last year, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But this is one where the Argentine peso just keeps giving. I mean, it's down. I mean, I feel bad for Argentina, but it's down 18% on the U.S. dollar in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it never stops.
It doesn't.
Keeps going down. Well, how much has a steak dinner there, or something like that?
Yeah,
now?
well, it's a lot less. I haven't had a steak dinner there recently, but it's a lot less than it used to be, because it used to be the prices were the same as New York. And now it's a budget destination. You don't have the massive jet lag of going all the way across the world. It's in our same hemisphere, and it's their summer when it's our winter, so that's nice too.
Nicaragua is the next one. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a big fan of Survivor, and this is Survivor's, based in Nicaragua. Nicaragua has long been a place where the dollar is a little bit stronger than a year ago, but it's just a place that's just so cheap. It's possible to get by for about $15 a day if you stay at some of these like $5 guest houses, and if you spend $15 or $20, you're really splurging, and you get really nice places.
Now the next one, this is number 2 on our list. We're nearly at number 1.
Yeah.
Surprised me a little bit. Now, I know that the deals in the city are really extreme in the city because there's so many hotels. Why would you want to go to Vegas and not go to Vegas?
I'm going to admit it. I personally am not a fan of shows, like the kind of the shows they have there, or gambling. And so my goal when I get to Vegas is to use it and get out of it. And the reason why I say that is you can often get, like these deals you're talking about, cheap flights there, and it's some of the cheapest car rental in the country. You can get a car for $20, $25. You just go online like right as you arrive.
Because there's so many hotel rooms to fill, the car companies just have a lot of inventory.
Yeah, and the car rental is cheaper than a cab in Vegas. So I use it to get out. With an $80 national park pass, you have some of the greatest national parks in all of the country.
Like which ones? Which were you looking at here?
This is Joshua Tree, which next year is the 25th anniversary of your favorite U2 album, Joshua Tree. So you can go to 29 Palms and stay in the same hotel that they stayed at, Harmony Motel, about $70. And with your pass, you can go there. You go to Death Valley, you go over to Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon.
Palm Springs isn't too far away from that either.
That's right. So, I mean, you can use it for a road trip, that cheap car rental, the cheap flight there, and you have some stunning southwestern scenery.
All right, final, number 1. You chose?
Number 1. Oh, let's see, I forgot. Well, it's predictable, but until someone knocks the crown off of D.C. as the U.S. good value place, it's going to have to win. I hate to say it, because all of that stuff is free. You can go to the Smithsonian, you see the Declaration of Independence, you can see the Wright Brothers planes, you can walk to the Lincoln Memorial. All those Smithsonian institutions, museums are free. And the thing is, it's kind of funny, the New Jersey governor, Chris Christie, is in trouble because he overspent his allotment when he went there and he stayed at some $500 hotel. And I'm just wondering what he's thinking, because there's so many different ways you can do it and save money there. There's a great hotel, it's historic. My favorite president and yours, Chester Arthur House.
Sure,
it's a bed and breakfast.
Beard.
$110. He's got those huge kind of mutton chops, and and so it has public transportation, has cheap and free stuff to do, and it has good links. Megabus now has dollar links it expanded its reach, so you can now go from like Pittsburgh and Charlotte and Knoxville. This is brand new, and they have dollar buses to go into DC. So it's cheap to get to, cheap to get
ahead
around.
of time on Megabus,
That's
which is the new brand that's stretching all across America. You can go for $1 as long as you plan ahead of time.
So I mean, there's really no excuse. I'm sorry. It's got to
and
be
it's our national heritage. So get traveling. You can't afford it. I'm Jason Cochran for WalletPop.com.